Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Prepare to Repair show. I am your host, Plumber Steve with RJ Graham Plumbing. Joining me today is Matt Pehr with
The Floor for You.
Thank you. I was going to get to that. You didn't have to jump in there, but thanks. Yes, it is Matt Pehr with The Floor for You.
You paused like you forgot for a second.
Well, actually, the sound went off in my headphones.
Mine too.
So, yes, Matt is here, and it's not like you're new here. I mean, you've been here on the show on many of occasions, so we're welcoming you back.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, why would I not? You're awesome.
It's Matt and Steve Power Hour.
That's what it is, the Matt and Steve Homeowner Power Hour. Welcome, yeah, welcome, Matt. It's Monday here. I'm just going off and being goofy. Today's show is presented by Ferguson Supply Kitchen and Bath Lighting Showroom, located at 7950 West 185th Street in Tinley Park. Whether you're doing a minor facelift or a full kitchen and bath remodel, Ferguson has you covered. Have you been over to Ferguson over there in Tinley Park?
I sure have. It's a very nice place.
Oh, yeah. The showroom is excellent. I mean, they have pretty much anything that you need, and you can actually physically take down the displays, touch everything, check them out, and feel the weight of the fixtures that you're going to buy versus ones at the box store, and really tells you the difference between the quality of the two.
Plastic.
Well, I mean, that's the way things are made now. You know, there's products that are specifically designed and are made by manufacturers to be sold at certain stores.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, it'll have it'll have the model number, but it'll have like an H or whatever on it.
I mean, they tell you. That's why they have discount stores.
Yeah.
Things are discounted for a reason.
Well, it's the same warranty. I mean, the dirt, let's just say this. Realistically, how long are people going to keep that particular faucet? Are they expecting 5 years maybe?
To be honest with you, I have no idea. How often do people think about changing faucets?
I think people, with the expense of them and how they don't really cost that much, they can maybe last a few years and then say, I want to go with something different. You know, I mean, before people used to hold on to stuff forever. Now it's, if you get 5 years out of it before you're changing something, you know what I mean?
If you get 5 years out of anything, it's a good amount of time.
Yeah. That's an understatement there. I wanted to ask you, last week's show, we were talking, I don't know if you were able to catch the podcast.
I caught the majority of it.
Okay.
I had this silly thing called a job.
Yeah, I do too. It gets in the way of a lot of things that I'd like to do.
Exactly.
And we were talking about that contractor who got himself in a little bit of hot water with
that's a little bit more than hot water.
Yeah, well, just trying to be nice, but yeah, he got himself in trouble for he bought himself a guest spot at the
penitentiary.
Yes, in jail for a while. So, but anyway, he was charged with robbing people or taking people's money and for fraud and so forth. And a lot of the stuff he would do, I wanted to get your opinion on it. He would, sign contracts and, not do the work. He'd get money for jobs partway through and not finish them, leave people with destroyed houses or kitchens and not do the work. And, we were discussing all that. And how often, do we see this happen on a regular basis? And it shouldn't.
To this scale, 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And that's just a revolving door of the other people catching up. There's lots of homeowners that have problems with contractors, but if nobody ever tells anybody, they just do it to the next person and the next person and the next person.
Well, they also, too, because I remember I went back, this was quite a few years ago, and there was this homeowner who said that she was robbed or, taken advantage of by this contractor that was in the area that he wound up leaving the state and getting in trouble in another state. So, and I went over there and saw the work that he had done, and it was an extensive amount of work where this person had a crawl space, and completely dug it out and added a basement, like extended the basement.
I know said contractor.
Yeah. Now, it's an extensive job. It's a lot of engineering that goes into it. This is something that is not an everyday contractor would do. And
that's where permits become very, very important.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, and this, like I said, and I went over there, and somebody was telling me, they're like, "Oh yeah, he did this, he did that." I said, honestly, for all the stuff he did, I mean, he could very well justify every dollar that he got from them.
Mm-hmm.
Was it bad and it was just completely wrong throughout the whole thing? Yeah, but he could, if he went to court, can say, this is what I spent on this, this, and this. Was it the wrong money and was it bad? Yeah. But I mean, because there's no law against being incompetent, I don't think.
Do you know how they dug that basement out?
No.
With shovels.
Really?
No kidding. Shovels.
I've seen it done on the north side. They on a job. It was in Andersonville in Chicago. They dug out the basement to lower it down about 2 feet and to give them more headroom in the basement. And these guys, they had a conveyor belt. It was all sand up there, so they had a conveyor that they were dumping it on there and dumping it in the buckets and filling up a dumpster. These guys filled up a 20-yard dumpster full of sand and it rained.
Ooh.
The dumpster company came out to try to lift it. The front wheels came off of the ground on the truck that was lifting it. They had to literally open the door and dump half of it on the street.
That's, have you ever seen that theory about how nothing's ever full, no matter how full it looks?
Yeah.
The whole dumpster was full of sand, but there was still room for an entire dumpster full of water.
They filled it up to the top. It was actually had a mound on top. And anybody who's tried to carry a bag of sand that's been outside that got wet, and you realize how heavy it is.
Yeah. Incredibly.
So, but we can go on this all along.
Yeah, let's get back on subject.
But going off on this is, there's ways to prevent all this, and we've talked about this, and and I went through, just different ways to do it, like on how to find people.
Well, I have something, reading through your list here. There should always be a location. I don't care what the location is. It could be an office. It could be a warehouse. It could be your home address. Every good contractor will always have a location, will always have a phone number, will always have an email address.
Oh, he had
an
address.
They will allow you, yeah, but no location.
Oh, he did. He had an address that the three business names were going to. I'm just telling you, did it say they were legit?
A location you could drive by and actually see.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just contractors just have phone numbers and not even an email. And that's fine. Like, I understand people are just starting out, but you have to do your research. Like, everybody has to.
Well, let me ask you, here's what I say. The more visible you are, okay? In other words, let's just put it very simply. If you are attacking and you're hiding in the woods and wearing camouflage, you are hard to spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If your intent is to be hidden, that's how you do it. But if you are a legitimate business that you want people to find you, you want to stand wearing bright orange in the middle of a parking lot with a sign spinning around saying, "Look at me." And I'm saying that, jokingly, but the main thing is you want people to see you. You want to be out in the open. You want to be visible. You want everybody to know, hey, I'm here. And the more attention that you have and the more visible you are, meaning the location that you have, the phone number, the address, you could be looked up. That's why I said look it up on Cyber Drive, Illinois, which is the Secretary of State website. You can check them out there. You can if you're looking them up on Google and all these other review sites.
We don't have time for this right now, but maybe on
only have an hour.
The next time. No, because I don't want to get off this subject.
Right.
But maybe the next time we can go into all the reasons why people that are out in that orange jumpsuit, all the things they've gone through to get there, and why prices may be a little higher than the guy hiding in the camouflage.
We shouldn't have said orange jumpsuit.
Also, but also...
I said orange. I didn't say orange jumpsuit. There's a difference.
We're going to go with orange jumpsuit for the rest of the show.
It doesn't say DOC on it, like
No,
Department of Corrections or anything? Okay, good.
It's a Halloween costume.
All right, let's go with that.
There's a reason why, the physical locations are going to be a little higher. But
Right.
what you can almost guarantee with going to people like that is you're never going to run into a problem like you are with this contractor.
No, because you're not going. There's nowhere to run.
Right.
There's nowhere to run.
There's nowhere to hide.
I saw I actually saw a post on social media where they were one was talking about she had a problem with somebody who sold them a water heater, and she was having problems. She was upset about the pricing and everything, and what have you. And woman says, someone comments, I like to go with somebody who doesn't have a lot of advertising because I don't have to pay for the overhead. And my thought was, okay, that I could see where you got there, and I'm not going to say anything bad against, but you would have to understand that the more exposure people have, the more that they're out there, the more that they're visible, the less likely, one, they can hide, or it makes it difficult for them to hide, and two, you can catch up to them. They're easy, you have some recourse because they obviously have some sort of stable business or some sort of stability to be around for a little bit that you can get something from.
I'm going to jump ship real quick, and we're going to jump right back, but this just goes into the warranty thing. So we're going to talk real quick about appliances. So don't hold me to these brands. I can't remember the exact three, but it's Whirlpool, let's say Frigidaire, and KitchenAid. There's three of them that are all the same company. They make the exact same appliances. They just change the tag to KitchenAid or Whirlpool or Frigidaire. And the reason they are more expensive is because you are just paying for a better warranty. Same exact appliance.
Right.
That's why warranties are so important with everything across the board. It's, you put a water heater in, you follow through with a full warranty.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't do that. You don't have the warranty, you just paid anywhere, who knows, $1,200, $2,000 for a water heater, especially being made nowadays, which you've talked about. You don't have that warranty, you're spending twice, 3 times, 4 times. It's easier to do things right the first time. Right.
I actually found there was a post I actually put out on our website, or on our Facebook page, where this gentleman was, the water heater was, I want to say 2 years old, and he's already replaced, he's working on the second gas valve on it because they were having issues with them.
Mm-hmm.
So warranties are key. And not only that, but let's go with this. A warranty is only as good as the company backing it.
100%.
So if you're getting a warranty from a person who is, I've only been in business for a few weeks, or, granted, they may be starting out and they may be great, and, they're getting there and they got to start somewhere, but you've got to look at, where that warranty is coming from, because they could promise you this warranty to sell you whatever they want to sell you. But if that's a 6-year warranty, there's no guarantee they're going to be around in 6 years.
I don't know who gives better warranties other than us. The warranties you and I give are phenomenal.
Well, do you know why I give the warranties I do?
Peace of mind.
1, and 2 is,
you believe in the product?
Well, the products are going to be, even the best products are going to have failure. Whatever you buy, it's going to have a failure. If it's made by humans, there's going to be a failure rate. There's just that.
You just called us all failures?
No, we're fallible. We're not perfect. But the reason why I do that is it takes away the gray area. So can you imagine you bought this water heater 3 years ago, or you spent money to have, flooring put in, and you have an issue with it. And you spent decent money. Say you spent $1,200 to put this water heater in, $1,300 to put this water heater in, whatever you did. 3 years later, you have an issue with it. And then you call up the person who installed it. Water heater's not working. He says to you, well, okay, water heater's not working. Well, you have a 1-year warranty with us. You have to contact the manufacturer. So then you contact the manufacturer. They give you all the information you need. and then they give you all the information you need. They send you parts. Now you've got to pay again after doing that. How are you going to feel about that? So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about warranties and how to get good people.
At Ferguson.com.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out.
Welcome back to the Prepare to Repair Show. I'm your host, Plumber Steve, and I've got Matt Pehr with Floor for You. See, I got it that time, Matt.
Hey, buddy.
And we are back. We were prior to the break, or just before the break, we were talking about, warranties and why they're there, why we give the warranties we do. And basically, it is for peace of mind, but and again, like I said, it eliminates gray areas. So that means when somebody calls up with a water heater, and I was saying before the break, if the person who put it in, 3 years ago and you have a problem, they only give you a 1-year warranty, you're left to deal with the manufacturer yourself. Now, some people could do that, but I mean, really, do you want to deal with that headache? You don't know the manufacturer. You don't know their ins and outs of it. So you've got to navigate this whole process yourself, and it can be frustrating.
Customers aren't going to know the names of the gas valves and the igniters, and that's not an easy task for somebody that's not in the industry.
Or even with flooring, say they have an issue with it, something happens, it's there's a warranty item. Okay, they're going to ask a lot of questions that they're not going to know the answers to.
Correct, and the opposite of what you can do, like in the flooring industry, the manufacturers will not talk to the customer.
Yeah.
So.
See, and again, that's why if you guarantee everything, dial up, beep, 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 beep. I'm actually making a pretend phone call here. And, okay, they call us up. My water heater is not working.
Correct.
Provided you didn't take on any water, you didn't flood out or anything, and it's a manufacturer-covered issues, one call, we take care of it. We deal with the manufacturer. We deal with all the warranty issues. We deal with everything. If it comes with replacing parts or getting parts, we will put them in. If you have to yank the heater and put a new heater in, we yank it and do that. We take care of all that. Just like if they contact you, there's you have to contact the manufacturer. Nothing is more frustrating when you spent a good amount of money, then now you have to run through, jump through hoops to get all this stuff that you need, that you want to get when there's an issue.
Right. And you know me, I share the good and the bad. And you remember I shared that post of a job that the flooring was actually defective.
Right.
We replaced it, put it all out there, explained the process. Crickets.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Well, you know why, right? Because a good post gets maybe 25 comments. A negative one, geez, you're talking, oh yeah, you're 300, 400, everyone comes out. But that's unfortunately the way we are. And that's why with getting good people and trying to find people is when I tell people and I give all this information about, where to find people, checking licensing, checking all this stuff and protecting themselves. Because the laws that are there, the laws, the rules, the permitting and everything are there to protect homeowners. They're there to protect homeowners and they're made because, why are they made?
To make money.
Well, that's true too. I mean, they're making a little bit of money.
They're there obviously to protect the homeowners because one person screwed it up for the next person and then...
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, permitting, most of the permitting is not even that much. A lot of villages have a courtesy permit. At least we found on our end, their courtesy permits.
Unless you're doing an addition or building a house, I mean, your permits are $100, $200. They're worth every penny.
But again, it's when they have these things for a reason, because it's to protect homeowners. It's to protect consumers. Now, when I see people on social media, when I say, okay, make sure you get somebody who's licensed, make sure you get check all this stuff, check their licenses. You're getting a licensed, reputable company, and that goes for everything. It doesn't necessarily have to mean plumbing, but make sure you double and triple check everything. Well, why do you have to do that? Maybe they don't have the money to pay for to have a company come out with all their advertising and everything to come out. It's like, okay. I said, you right there. Basically, might as well just walk around with a shirt that says Target. And I don't mean the store. Because you're just saying that, hey, I don't want to follow any of these rules that protect me. So contact me. And you're just opening the door for all these people, giving them an opportunity because you don't want to protect yourself. You're waiving all those protections that could benefit you.
I'm going to jump ship a little bit here again.
You keep leaving.
Do you know what extended life expectancy It wasn't doctors. It wasn't hospitals. It was plumbers.
It was clean water.
Clean water.
Yeah.
That is why plumbing is still so important to this day. That's why it's important to hire a licensed plumber, and you get in all kinds of trouble if it's not done correctly.
Well, I'll just say this. Within the first 5 minutes of you waking up in the morning, you have touched your plumbing.
Yep.
You have, in some way, shape, or form, touched that plumbing.
It is the most important part of your house. It's
next to breathing. What they say you can go, is it the 2? Is it the what is it? You can go, I forget what the thing is. You can go X amount of time without air, without breathing, X amount of time without water, and X amount of time without eating. And there was a formula that it was with that. But next to breathing, clean water in drinking water is most important. It's an essential of life. And the fact that you don't have to think about it means that we're doing our jobs.
Yep.
And it's often overlooked. But when you need it, it's, you ever been to a bar and the bathrooms were down? Yeah.
They always kind of look down.
Well, let's just say every fixture becomes available at that point. So, and people are probably like going, oh man, but I'm not wrong. I'm just going to let you know that there's any fixtures available. There's a floor drain in there. Yes. So
floor drain, sinks.
There you go.
Filthy.
But the reality is, and actually what you said, if there was a thing on the History Channel that it was in the 1850s in Liverpool, the life expectancy of a resident at that time was 19 years old. And they found out that people were getting sick and dying because they were drinking the water from the Thames River. And their sewage was dumping into that river. So they were getting sick. And what they did was they did a complete construction project, rerouted it to further out towards where it goes into the ocean. And by doing that, they've increased the life expectancy and doubled it by 20 years. So
let's get back to these reviews before we bypass that, because that's important.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about reviews.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your
Welcome back to the Prepare to Repair Show. I'm your host, Plumber Steve, with RJ Graham Plumbing, and I got Matt here with the floor for you. Now, you were going to say something, Matt, before the break?
I just think we should talk about reviews. Reviews are good and bad. They can be a wonderful resource for you, and they can also be entirely misleading.
Right. I agree with you there.
One thing I would say is no company, don't care who you are, will have all 5-star reviews. There will be at least one, and it doesn't even have to be a bad review. It could be a 4 instead of a 5. No company can have 100% 5-star reviews. It's not possible. Go as far as to say you're not even a real business until you have one that's a little less than 5.
Well, you can actually pay to have reviews generated for you.
My point.
Yeah, there are companies that will generate reviews for you.
Right.
And generate the 5-star reviews. That's why in here last week I spoke about that, and I said, look at the bad ones. Nobody's paying for a bad review.
Nope.
Those you can get on your own.
And you can generally, if you read through them, you can pick out if it's somebody's family member, if they're overly excited about it. You can usually tell.
Or the one that gave the review because they happen to know them and their kids played softball or played on sports teams together or things like that. And that's great. I mean, when you do a lot of stuff in the community and people like you, I mean, that's great to sing their praises. But the problem is if I'm looking for somebody, when I look at these reviews, I want it to be genuine from somebody who actually used their services or shopped at this particular store or whatever the case may be. So I know, are they good? Are they bad? Or whatever.
I mean, it depends where you're looking for the reviews too. If the company's only got reviews on Facebook, I mean, that's they could just be getting started. We're not going to knock anybody.
Right.
But there's all kinds of things you could do. You can look to see if they have a website. You can see if they're on other social media platforms.
Correct.
You can see if they're listed in a phone book. I mean, the more places you find them, the better chances are your project's going to run smoothly.
Right. That's why I put on here, look at sites like Google, Yelp, Facebook, Angie's List, Home Advisor. All those individually, I would not use one of them and say, I'm going to go get my person off of here. I'm hiring and that's it.
Correct.
I would collectively use them and throw it all in and gather the average and then check the reviews on it and see what I find. And then once you do that, then you can use that to narrow down your list of people that you're going to use. But again, even with the reviews, it's, you don't know if they're friends, family, and coworkers. Those aren't genuine reviews. Those aren't genuine reviews and recommendations. That doesn't paint a picture of the company. That just is somebody there trying to drum up business because they know the person or they work there. I that's one thing that bothers me on that. And I think that, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot you can do. Like places like Yelp. I mean, I'm not a real big fan of their reviews because they have their algorithm that they use.
I'm not a fan of that algorithm.
And you'll have half of them in a not recommended section. And the one thing I at least my opinion of it is, and I'm not bad-mouthing them, they got a business how they do it, but whenever anything happens on anything goes viral, that's the one place people go to rip apart a business if they can do that.
And then those go straight to the top.
Well, yeah. And we had to shut it down. Wouldn't it make more sense to have a security process to minimize the people that are looking from being able to do that and actually try to make them genuine members or something there so you know these people are genuine and not using like 5 or different, Gmail accounts to log on there or whatever the case, whatever they can do on it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's my thought on it. But I mean, you just take all this information, all this research, you use it collectively, but also too is a little bit of common sense. And you control your project. You get paperwork, paper trail. That's why if they do a bigger job, that's why I put down here. And this is one thing I know a lot of people don't do, and you could pretty much comment on this one, is when, like, say you're having a remodel done, and there's plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and these require specialized companies. They should have their licensing, their insurance, and everything either via permit or the homeowner should have a copy of these subbed out.
If you were using individual trades, I completely agree with you.
But if you're using a GC, they should have that.
The GC should give you their information, and that should be enough.
Exactly. Well, the GC should have all that information for you in that little file you have, because here's the problem. If I was controlling this and I make out my check, the GC then takes that information and it all goes on the permit, so they end up with it right
no matter what.
But if you're a homeowner and you don't know what to look for, and you get this and the GC decides, well, I'm going to save money by having my guys do the plumbing, my guys doing the electrical, and my guys doing some of it.
That's a whole nother show on why projects don't go smoothly.
Right.
Because you don't let us work with our trusted partners.
Right. Well, I mean, but you get some people out, that's how they were able, like you said, why is this price different from this price? And the reason why the prices are different is because one is actually doing it one way, which is going to protect you, because here, when they get all that, then if there's an issue, you could blame the plumber. You can not blame him, but I got the plumber's insurance. I got all of his information. If the electrical's not working, I get a warranty from each one of these people along with the GC. And plus, if you don't pay any one of those subs, or the GC doesn't pay one of those subs are going to come after you and lien the house.
Correct.
So
the moral of the story is?
Moral of the story is control as much of your project as you can. If there's a GC out there that doesn't want to let you have any kind of control or is frowning upon you doing things like that, then you might want to, do a little bit more homework on things. That's just my opinion.
I thought it was look for the guy in the orange jumpsuit.
Well, You keep going
We're both
with that,
right.
You keep going with that orange jumpsuit because there's a possibility. Because if he does it right, if you're looking for the guy in the orange jumpsuit and he's good, he's good. But there's also, you could wind up doing something bad and end up in that same orange jumpsuit.
You know, the more we talk, there's just so much that goes into the trades.
It is, and and I look at it from a homeowner standpoint, and it's like, okay, who do I believe?
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Right. Who do I believe? What do I do? It makes me almost like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to get a couple relatives to come over. I'm going to throw some steaks on the grill. And, you know, at least I know that, you know what, if it's going to go sideways, I know it's going to be a very, very uncomfortable Christmas.
Well, you see it every Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You see it every year.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it's, you know, I just think this, if you control the money and you control your project, you minimize, because even going through that and saying that you're going to do this, this, and this, that's going to get rid of a lot of the people that are possibly potentially wanting to scam you.
I understand what you're saying, but if you don't know the whole process of the project, how do you do that as a homeowner?
Well, what you do is you listen to the show, and we're going to give you as much information as we can. All this stuff that I have here that I talked about last week and this week, I'm going to put on the website.
Okay.
And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in addition to putting on the website, I'm going to maybe put on the Facebook, put on Facebook as well, just to give people a little bit of information on what can help them. If they could use part of it, they can use all of it, they can use none of it. But every question you ask is it minimizes your risk of having an issue.
Maybe we could open up some sort of forum where people could ask these questions.
Yeah, that'd be good. Well, we have a phone number that they can text us any questions at 708-964-5500. They can text us on the show and we can answer some of these. Hey, I've got this contractor that's coming over to, or they can send us something on Facebook at Prepare to Repair Show. They can send us something on Facebook. They can send it via the email at our show at preparetorepair.com. That's repair2repair.com. And we can answer as much as we can and to kind of, just ask that question so it doesn't, before you have this happen.
Right. No, that's perfect. I don't think people know where to go to ask these questions.
Well, because there's no school, there's nothing you can do. And most of the people that are going to tell you are going to be trying to sell you something. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm telling you to do this because none of this benefits me in any way, shape, or form. Because if you call me, great. I would love for you to call me and help you with your plumbing. I'm licensed, I'm insured, and here's the thing. You could offer me a $100,000 job. That $100,000, I'm not going to blow up my company for a $100,000 job.
We don't even talk about floors when I come. I'm legitimately just here to help like you are.
Exactly. That's the thing. If they want to go and get flooring done, come over to your showroom, and you've got a great showroom there over in Mokena that pretty much has everything that you need, and it's all laid out. Nice displays you can go through and visualize what it's going to look like in your house.
Absolutely.
And
there's apps now that you can actually put the flooring right into your space. You take a picture and it lays it out flawlessly for you.
See, that's right. Now, let me ask you, if a customer comes in and asks you a boatload of questions, are you going to get irritated with them?
Absolutely not.
You're not going to say, are you going to buy or what?
No.
Okay. Now, if somebody's watching you putting in the floor, you tell them, leave me alone. I'm doing my work.
No, absolutely not.
It's their house, right?
It's their house. We talk.
Yeah.
I don't mind if they watch.
Right.
I've got nothing to hide.
Because who do we work
Sometimes it's more enjoyable though when they're there actually, because you have conversations and they get to see things the way they're being done. And
right.
Some people like to watch, some people don't. Whatever anybody's personal preference is. Some people want to be home, some people don't. It's whatever makes the customer happy.
Ask questions. It's your house. You have the right to be involved in every little thing.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes they even help sweep and clean up, and I ask them if they want to come with the next day.
I've had people that, they told us that they had a guy come out and he was a plumber, and, well, why do you have to do this? Well, you don't know. You don't know. You're just you're just a plumber. You're not a plumber. You're not a plumber. You wouldn't know. I'm telling you, you have to just trust me. No. You explain everything to everyone in detail because it's their house. They need to know what's going on, and where their money's going to go, who, what, when, where, how, and why. As much of those as you can to get them the information they need so they can check it out. And then they will call you back. The more informative you are, the more comfortable the homeowner feels. And the more comfortable the homeowner feels, the more likely they're going to have you do the project.
Mm-hmm. And I can 100% attest that you are very informing. While you guys were doing that project for me, I had a general idea what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, though, I trust you so much, I didn't care. Like, whatever had to get done, got done. But every time it was, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. You can't be any more informative than you guys are.
Well, you give the information out because a lot of people don't know. Like, to kind of give a little backstory, we did a basement bathroom in Matt's house, and when you do that and you dig up the floor, it kind of looks like a bomb went off. So I made sure Matt knew that, okay, when you go down there, it's going to look like a bomb went off. And mainly I wanted him to let Mrs. Matt know that it does look like a bomb went off. So,
Looked like a concrete floor got broke up.
Exactly. So, and before we even got to that, we found out, because it originally started out as just a simple, 3-piece bathroom, and it turned out other work wasn't done properly. So instead of just leaving that, we redid it and did it right. And now everything's going to function properly. But it wound up, again, it made the job a little bit more disruptive as far as what was going on there. But for the most part, you're going to run into that.
Correct. And one thing I'm sure everybody knows is nobody has X-ray vision.
No.
It's impossible to see everything. All we can do is use our experience and what we've run into in the past. And obviously when things come up, both of us, we always talk to the customer before we proceed.
Well, here's what I tell people right off the bat. It's like, well, they'll ask, how much is this, or what does this cost? And I'd love to be able to say it's this price, this price, this price. But unfortunately, your house is going to dictate what we do and what things are going to cost, because every house is different. And you could have 2 houses in the same subdivision. They were the same architect, same design, same everything, but they used 2 different plumbers on it. So you're going to have 2 different setup, 2 different layout. One may have wanted a little bit more electrical lines, a little bit more data lines in there. So we open a ceiling and we're thinking we're going to be able to get to certain drains or water. Come to find out, you've got a whole slew of data lines in there that are in the way, and it's going to stop us from doing what we want to do and access all these little these curveballs that come to us. Those affect the cost on it. Just like when you're doing flooring, it's like, oh, how much is this? Well, what am I dealing with?
Here I can. So you've used the analogy of the Ethernet cords in the ceiling. I'll use the carpet and padding over concrete.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell what your concrete looks like under there. Padding and carpet hides a ton.
Oh yeah.
You don't feel any humps and bumps under it. So it's the same concept. We can get close. I can kind of, based off the year your house was built, based off other houses in the neighborhoods we've worked in. Sometimes it's a humpy, lumpy mess when we pull it out of there.
What do you do if you pull out the carpeting and you find that they have those beautiful 8x8 tiles that are kind of
the bad kind?
Yeah, that
the
are
ones
kind
we
of
don't talk about.
Yeah, that are loose and bouncing around and all the other good stuff.
A lot of times, believe it or not, they're not loose and they're stuck pretty good because they used the really good cutback adhesive back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You just go over the top of them.
Yeah, they allow you to do that. If you don't disturb it, they'll allow you to go over it.
You can either encapsulate it, which is you just skim coat over it with a concrete-based product, or you can float another product over the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't want to break them up. And they're not loaded with the bad stuff, but you still don't want to be disturbing that in anybody's home.
Right, exactly. Those tiles we're talking about, they were around in the 60s and 70s. They were like 8x8. They looked like plastic tiles, but they were really made of that miracle fiber.
They're usually black or peach.
Yeah, they're miracle fiber asbestos, and breaking those up, or when you run into them, that's when you're like, okay, we got to evaluate. And again, if it's there,
and just since we brought that up, You mentioned if they're all loose.
Yeah.
If they're all loose, you can just pick them up and simply put them in a garbage bag and throw them away. It's when they become broken.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that.
Yes, if they are loose, full tiles.
You could throw them in the garbage.
You have to put them in a bag. You have to take them to a special place.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
No, I mean, you're not going to go throw them in your local garbage can.
No.
But I'm saying if they are full tiles, not broken, because it's when they break and they get all full of dust. If they're all loose and just sitting there, you can place them in a bag and you have to take them to a center.
Okay, they have to be disposed. Okay.
Yeah, but you don't just leave them there.
You scared me when you go like,
no.
You can't throw them in the garbage.
Well, you're not supposed to throw batteries in the garbage either, but...
Well, I don't do that. I take them down to the recycler. But yeah, I mean, but you'll run into, when I run into it, when I see it, I'm not going to dig it up. I'm not going to do that.
No, you can't.
You'll uncover it when you'll more likely to uncover it in what you do. So
yeah, your working situation with that is a little more difficult than mine.
Exactly. Now, when we were, talking about your basement and we were going through, what happens, like we dug that up and there is a point in a project, and I think you've kind of run into it when you have everything, and this usually happens with kitchens and, maybe even like with what we did with your basement. You have that spot in there where it's like, okay, everything's dug up, everything's demolished, and you're doing the little tedious work like the piping or putting your mechanicals in there.
Feels like it's taken a long time.
Yes, it's like, okay, you're thinking to yourself, what did I do? What in the world did I get myself into? And a lot of people get anxious at this point.
Yeah.
Why isn't more stuff getting done? Why isn't more stuff? And I think that's where that point is where kind of we talked about in the beginning where people bolt.
Yeah, and there's a weird part of a project that even still amazes me to this day. I mean, it's like you're working, it's kind of torn up, and all of a sudden it's just like done, like quickly almost.
Right. Well, I've seen it where it's like you get to that point where it's like, oh man, this is just going on forever. And then all of a sudden it's like a few little things, boom, boom, and then everything you blink your eyes and you're done.
Right.
And you could see it. And then you start getting you get excited about it because it's, oh yeah, I see my shower coming in. I see my kitchen coming in. I see where everything's going to go. And, now you can't wait for everything to happen. And these, again, these things happen, but I think the main thing that really helps with this process is the communication with your contractor and the subs that are working and the overall communication in general with everybody being on the same page.
Correct. Trust the contractor, trust the process, communicate. It's done.
Right.
Just like that kind of. Like I said, I still get amazed by it to this day.
Right. Well, I got me and you, we were talking about things that are going to come up in the, or just things to talk about on the show. One interesting topic or one interesting point came up, and I've run into this in the business, just dealing with homeowners, is the elderly and how they're targeted for scams.
Yeah, I'm going to let you answer this one because you had the best answer ever because I asked you the question. I said, at what age do you start being able to be taken advantage of? Because we all know our bodies age, but people's minds don't age. I always thought maybe it was a technology thing, but you had the best answer ever, so I'm going to let you give it.
Well, a friend of mine told me, and I really didn't understand that. He told me, he says, his mom was elderly at the time. He says, as he had to realize, he said, as we get older, he says, as we get older, our world shrinks. So what happens is when you have somebody who is a senior that's living in their home, they're retired, their home is their sanctuary. When you come in and you tell somebody that your home, your sanctuary is having all these problems, this is where you are. This is your world. You can't have anything wrong with your world. So it just makes it that much more, it makes it easier for them to do that. Whereas, when you were younger, you're like, well, I'm not retired. I can, let me look at this. Let me, your world was a lot bigger. Your pool of people that you talked to was a lot bigger. The circle was a lot bigger. So, and that's the way he explained it to me. And I'm like, it made sense. It made sense.
It makes really good sense, actually.
And when we go out to places where we run into somebody who is maybe a little older and, so we don't have that, we will try to talk to any if there's any kids that are there that can explain that to them. Or there was one that we went to, there was a neighbor that was there, that was friends and neighbors that were there. Just have as many people there so they can hear the conversation, so they understand where we're going, so they can check out and research everything. They could do it. And what it does is it reassures, because they don't feel like they're in a position where they're uncomfortable.
Right.
And
so what I'll do something very similar. Obviously, if somebody's there, I'll ask if they want their children to be there or whatever, but I itemize everything.
Yeah.
That way every single cost can be checked, broken down, gone over. I always tell them, check with, other people, so on and so forth. But it's sickening that people do that.
Right.
Sickening.
Exactly. I don't, to me, when you take advantage of people that are weak, that doesn't make you stronger. If you're the biggest, baddest lion in the jungle, then you're that bad, then you need to go and find the other biggest, baddest lion in the jungle and beat them. If you beat them, then you have the title.
Yep.
You don't get any points for going after a wounded gazelle with 2 broken legs. You know what I mean? You get nothing for that.
And there's good karma just like there's bad karma.
Just do the right thing.
Right.
If the house needs work, then you need to explain what you need to do the work. And if they elect to go with you, great. If they don't, then move on.
It's easier to do the right thing.
It is. To me, it's because honestly,
it literally is. It's easier to do the right thing.
It's so much more painless.
Right. There's no thought involved because you're just doing what you know. You're doing the right thing. The wrong way, there's thought involved. There's lies to remember.
I don't have that good of memory. I don't have that good of memory. I just would rather, hey, are you happy with it? Because I want people to be happy.
Absolutely.
When I leave, I want you to be like, okay, I got a great product. I got what I needed resolved, and this is what it is. I want people to be happy. I don't want them upset. Same thing with you. Now, people want to get in touch with you, Matt. How do they reach out to you?
Nowadays it seems like everybody's doing more of the email or the Facebook, or you can stop into the showroom, 9614 Willow Lane in Mokena. You can always reach me personally too, Matt Pehr.
Awesome.
We'll answer you any time of day if we can. So if you can't get around to messing us till 8:00 at night, I'll try my best to get back to you.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Matt, for being on the show today. Go check them out. Their showroom, the 4 for You in Mokena. And also head out to Ferguson Supply for all your kitchen, bath, and lighting and appliance needs. Your dream kitchen or bathroom is as close as Tinley Park. Also, our tip of the day, as I said, protect yourself, ask questions, research. When you control the money, you control your job. Till then, we'll be seeing you next week. Till then, have a great week.